World's most famous blue heeler family is coming to Evans. Bluey's big play, the stage show, will be delighting kids and adults at the Columbia County Performing Arts Center this Thursday.
Yeah, we got the chance to speak with actor Morgan Love, who plays Bandit, Bluey's dad. Take a look.
Hey, Morgan, thanks for joining us this afternoon. We appreciate it. We can't wait to see the show when it gets down here. What can kids and grown-ups, for that matter, expect ahead of this show?
Oh, well, first of all, thank you for having me. The show is just what I like to say. It is the longest episode of Bluey that you're ever going to see. And it is for real life. You get to see the whole Heeler family on stage. And what's wonderful about this show is that, like you said, it is such a great show for both kids and adults. The kids find it very physical because there's a lot of moments in the show where you get up and dance, you get up and copycat Bandit, the dad, and then you get up and play Keepy Uppy. But then there's also subtle and very emotional moments in the show as well, where the adults can relate on a positive and a more emotional level. And I think that's the appeal of Bluey as a whole. So we like to bring that because it's authentically written from the original writers and creators of the show that you see on Disney+. So we're just really grateful that we get to tell this story for people of all ages.
I cannot wait to see that in theaters, right? Because when my TV is on at home, it's playing Bluey. My daughters absolutely love it. And
oh, good.
Yes.
She watches it. She
yeah,
really watches
I do.
It.
Oh,
I do.
absolutely.
Like, when I started the song, I started dancing and said, "Yeah, Mom, Dad."
So. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. I like to say that it's this generation SpongeBob SquarePants. It's a huge cultural phenomenon.
Not unlike that.
Yeah. And Morgan, you play Bandit, so it's the main character of Bluey. So what is it like to play him, and what did you have to do to prepare for this role?
Absolutely, I play Bandit, and thank you. I'd like to think that he is the main character of Bluey's big play. He's the one that's on stage the most, and he's the one that gets into the most shenanigans. But the shenanigans are caused by Bluey, so you got to have a little yin and yang. But preparing for this role, I went into this with very little puppetry experience, and I knew that it was going to be a physical show. I had no idea what to expect as far as how physical it was going to be. So utilizing my prior theatrical experiences, because I've worked in theme parks, I've worked in corporate entertainment, I've done Shakespeare, you know, and I utilized a lot of the universal ideas that I incorporated in those experiences in order to learn something completely new, which is puppetry and puppetry choreography. So a big thing was learning how to be patient and learning how to adapt with ensemble work and ensemble pieces, because at any given time, Bandit is operated not by just me, but at any given time, it's operated by two guys from head and to his feet. So you have to really listen to each other, non-verbally, of course, in order to create a great picture.
And you're joining this family here on this first international tour. From what I'm hearing, what is it like to be a part of an international tour? What's that like?
Oh, well, being that this is my first international tour, it has been an absolute whirlwind. I love traveling, and my dream growing up was to travel across the United States in an RV. So now I get to do it, and I get to get paid. So that's like ticking all boxes for me. But what's beautiful is that performing this show, because we've performed this show hundreds and hundreds of times now, but taking it to different cities and essentially different cultures, and these cultures have a universal understanding of what Bluey means to them. So I get to talk to them and get to hear about their background and where they come from and stuff like that, and what Bluey means to them. So it's a huge responsibility and a great privilege to undertake and show this story to different cultures, because we're in the United States and we're in Canada, and it's just universally loved.
That's got to help keep the show fresh when you're getting the different cultures in there.
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, it's an interesting gauge, because, you know, one city is going to laugh and applaud at specific parts that you might expect in this show. And then there are other audiences where you're expecting that laughter and that enthusiasm, but they just sit in their seats and they're actively listening and actively watching it without having to make any noise. So, and it doesn't mean that you're doing less of a job than you're normally doing. It's just that they process it and enjoy it in a much different way. So it's a wonderful thing to witness.
Awesome. And Morgan, Bluey is such a beloved TV show, and now it's in theater. So why do you think there is this big love for Bluey?
I think I think you would need to ask more adults that question, because there are so many thematic elements in the show itself, and as well as the live performance, where adults really have an empathetic relatability to it. Like, whether you're a mom and dad, or whether you're just an adult going through life, there are so many lessons that you can learn just from watching a little 7-minute episode of Bluey. So that's why I like to say that Dad is my favorite, because I see a lot of things that are relatable in my life, just as a grown man, that Bandit is experiencing. And the fact that that's in a kid show where it's not too campy, and it's kind of grounded in realism, there's something to be said about that. And I think that's the universal appeal.
Well, we're going to get a chance to check out that appeal. That's going to be happening June 6th, 6 p.m. at the Columbia County Performing Arts Center. You can get your tickets at Ticketmaster.com for Bluey's Big Play. And talking with the character of Bandit, Morgan Loff. Thank you, Morgan, for a behind-the-scenes look here at the show.
Oh, it's absolutely my pleasure, and I can't wait to see you all at the theater.